button on the microphone there.
Thank you.
So the light should turn green. Excellent.
Ready, John? Could everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we'll call this November 25th, 2025 Clifton Heights Zoning Board hearing to order. Mr. McLean.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, this is the application of the Potter's House Church, which is Act One Inc. The address of the property is known as 360 North Oak Avenue in Clifton Heights, Pennsylvania. The application is in connection with the proposed use of the residential parcel at the property as a parking lot for the neighboring church parcel in the IR1 district. Applicant requests a use variance from section 340-14, which governs uses by right in that district, to allow the parking lot use. Mr. Chairman, I'll turn to Mr. Gould, our zoning officer, but Mr. Gould, do we have a proof of publication of the hearing in the newspaper general circulation?
Yes, sir, I do.
So when was it advertised?
This was advertised on 11/18/2025. And I'm sorry, it ran two dates, 11/11 of 25 and 11/18 of 2025.
All right, so we'll mark that as application board one, the proof of publication, and admit that to the record. And then was the property posted in conformity with the zoning ordinance requirements?
Yes, that's correct. On November 7th, 2025, I both posted the property as well as Borough Hall here, and I did distribute flyers to anybody within a 500-foot radius of the property.
And take photographic evidence of the posting of the property.
Yes, I did.
All right, we'll mark those photographic evidence as B2. And then do you have a copy of the public notice which was posted and distributed to the residents?
Yes, sir, I do.
And we'll mark that as B3. Pastor, you're happy to take a look at any of these. These are
Yeah,
just
I'm
the
good.
housekeeping notice requirements.
I saw him do it.
Okay.
That's true.
So with that, the applicant is present, represented by the pastor of the church, as I understand. We do have Mr. Lombardo, Mr. Humphreys, and Mr. Gantz. 3 of the 5 members of the zoning hearing board are present, so we do have a quorum. We have a court reporter who is here tonight, obviously taking down everything everybody says. This is not as formal as a court hearing, but because it is what they call a quasi-judicial matter, the court reporter will take everything down and make a record. For that purpose, we ask that only one person at a time speak. It makes it easier if you ever have to go back and read the record. If we have a town hall style meeting, it's not understandable what anybody says on the record. With that, we'll turn it over to the applicant. Perhaps you could tell us, just to give us a background about the property, what was there when you purchased it, what you did with it, and what your plan is to use it for.
In December of the 9th of this year, we purchased the property, I think, for $850,000. And obviously was in need of a lot of renovation and demo and different things. And so we applied for all the permits that were necessary to do all of that. And so that was HVAC, plumbing, bathrooms, handicap. It had no handicap access at all, sidewalks, so we could have accessibility. So there was a lot of time, effort, and money that was put into bring it up to code and make it work. We had the fire department come through inspections after inspections to make sure that it was all done up to par. So we moved our church from Upper Darby. We were looking for facilities to where we could have some parking, some grass space for activities and things, and a building that would work for us. So anyway, when we found that building, it was like ideal for us and in a community. And so, I've known Mr. McCosey for 20 years, and getting to know John's been a real pleasure. So anyway, so it's worked out real well for us, but parking became a problem. That became noticeable almost immediately because I think there was only like 15 spaces on that right side when you're looking at it. And it's, as you can see how narrow the approach is right there. It's kind of dangerous. It's dangerous for fire trucks getting in and out of there because cars we parked left and right of it. So you can't hardly get a fire truck in there very easy. You can't, the school has had a lot of problems just getting people in and out with the streets. I think getting busier with the new school going in, a change needed to come. And so we're looking at from that pole that you see right there to the right of it, we're going to put an entrance exit right there. And then we'll fill in the other entrance exit there, which was really a single car driveway going to the house and to that garage that's directly behind it. So we'll put in a proper, I think, 22 feet entrance and exit. And then obviously you've gone by the property. The house is no longer there. We've leveled the property to a point they define graded, but and then we'll have like 41 spaces of parking. That will, I think the figure is about 3 per car. So that's 120. And then between the street parking and stuff, and the church right now is 100 people. So, the building itself at one time, sat 200 people. So it's never had adequate parking at that space. And so I think by and large in this, it gives us closer to the numbers that we will need over time and have adequate parking for the future. If things go beyond that, then that changes different dynamics. If we grow past that 175, 180 mark that we can seat inside of it, then we might have to take up more space or rent space from St. Mark's or the new school going in or something. But the building right now, as it sits, will seat 175 pretty easy. And if we have an overflow downstairs, if the church grew, drastically, then we'd change and mix it up and do two services on a Sunday morning. So you could kind of technically split your congregation that way. So we keep a pretty busy load of activities going on. There's, so like we did trunk or treat the other day, and we had a whole lot of people from the neighborhood came through there. It was awesome. We weren't expecting it. We gave out so much candy that day. It was unbelievable. We're doing a Christmas thing, walk through this year, and pictures with Santa, and we've got that going on the 19th, 20th, 21st. So we'll have a lot of different activities, and the grass space gives us the ability to do that. Barbecues, we had neighborhood barbecues, 4th of July. We actually won first place in the parade. That was pretty awesome, I thought. I don't know if you guys are looking at all the floats, but you saw ours, and so that was good. So, but it's been great being there, and the neighborhood's been awesome. The people across the street, I have no complaints, other than on one side we run into a little problem because that house there, that house was a nasty house. And so a lot of bad activities went on there, and the people, the girls that work at the daycare, they're so glad to have that removed. And so, it was a crack house, so you can only imagine the things that were going on there. They would block that little space there. They couldn't get their cars in and out. Even lately, one of the guys, he stole our barbecue. He's thrown, his debris, tires in our place. And so we're hoping to get that fence up there pretty quick, and eliminate some of that. And it's like, the less nonsense we have, the better for the whole neighborhood, I think.
Right. So, Pastor, I had to jump right into it, but I neglected to even have you formally state your name for the record.
Well, my name's John Overson, spelled Jon.
And then spell your last name for the
Overson.
And Mr. Chairman, there's 2 types of professions, or if you call professions in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, where we don't have people swear an oath. Religious personnel and also lawyers, because they're supposed to be officers of the court. But you do agree that everything you'll tell us here tonight is the truth, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So why don't you tell us a bit about the property? In fact, there are 2 separate parcels here. Is that correct?
Yes, you have 360 North Oak and 340. And so there's has its own folio number at 360. 340 had 2 folio numbers, one for the house, one for the property itself. That had to do, from what I understand, you could rent out the house and only be taxed on the property. I think that was the way it was. So there's two parcels there, that.
And so the parcel, the one parcel that contained the house is the parcel that we're talking about here this evening.
340 North Oak. Yes.
And you and you, when I say you, I mean the church corporation went ahead and obtained permits and have demolished the house, correct? And so right now it's just a vacant land.
Vacant land, yes.
And again, your proposal is to use that as parking in support of the activities of the church, correct?
Correct, yes.
And how many spaces do you propose to have there?
Minimum of 41. If it's laid out the way it is. I mean, once they have the asphalt in, they might take closer measurements and space it closer. But, given it the 8 foot by 18, we can get 41 spaces on that property right there.
Right. So you're working with a design professional who will design the parking spaces and the travel lanes
Absolutely.
in accordance with local ordinances and
Absolutely.
with professional design standards.
And they'll mark it, and measure it, the asphalt company. So, there's a number of them that are giving me bids on it right now.
Right.
So,
And your plans are not to rent that parking to any other businesses or any other commercial entities, correct?
Absolutely not.
It would just simply be used in conformity with the church purposes.
Mhm.
And Pastor, I asked you just a series of questions that govern the grant of variances in Pennsylvania, really for the record. And I think probably your answers will be yes to all of these matters. But you agree that there's unique physical circumstances or conditions regarding the property that are particular or peculiar to this property that are unlike other properties in this general district. You have row homes and that sort of thing. So this property is bigger, a little bit irregularly shaped, and different than the typical row home property in this area. Is that correct?
Absolutely. It's large.
Okay. And that because of these physical circumstances or conditions, it makes it very difficult to use the property in strict conformity with the provisions of the zoning ordinance, and that the authorization of the relief necessary would enable you to reasonably use the property. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that the unnecessary hardship was not created by you. In other words, you haven't done anything to the property other than take the house down, but you haven't changed the property or border lines or subdivided the property, correct?
Correct.
And that this variance, if authorized, in your opinion, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood or district in which the property is located, nor substantially or permanently impair the appropriate use or development of adjacent property, nor will it be detrimental to the public welfare. Would you agree with that? In fact, as you indicated, it would probably relieve some of the parking problems that may occur with a successful congregation attending
Absolutely.
services.
Absolutely. We have events there, and this eliminates a lot of people have to park on the street.
And you would agree that the variance, if authorized, will represent the minimum variance that will afford relief and will represent the least modification possible of the regulation that's an issue.
Yes.
So those are the requirements. Your background, what you've told us, the description of what you're going to use it for, and going over those requirements are what are necessary for the board to consider it. Did you have, in addition to the materials that you submitted with the application, do you have any further written evidence that you wanted to put into the record here tonight?
No, sir.
Okay. Are there any questions by the board members for the pastor?
Nope.
And Pastor, do you have any other witnesses that you wanted to present at this time?
No, some of my congregation are here. They just wanted to come and hear it and
Yeah,
see
that's
what's
all right.
going on. I appreciate them. The moral.
We're thrilled with
support.
people coming to the hearing.
Yeah.
We would, if there's no other witnesses, what we would do at this time is we would open the record at zoning hearings. Members, I'll first call for members of the public who are residents of Clifton Heights and got any notice and live within a distance to the church, if they want to make any public comment first. Are there any residents at Clifton Heights that would like to make comment first? All right, hearing none. We do have, again, a number of people in your congregation. I presume maybe just by a show of hands, you could say you're here in support of the application and wish for the board to approve the application. By a show of hands, we can do that. So we do have almost 10 or 12 people here for that. In addition, Mr. President, we would note the attendance of Suzanne Brittis, John Gorman, who are council members from this district. Members of council, do you have anything that you wanted to add? You're here in support of the application? Okay. And Mr. Gorman, saying?
They've been an addition to the neighborhood. We welcome them. They've been very friendly towards the residents in the area, and I think what they're requesting would be a good thing.
Okay. So with that, Pastor, unless you have any other evidence to present, it would be appropriate at this time to close the record in this matter, and we will admit the application and all of the exhibits that were submitted with it to the record, as well as board exhibits 1, 2, and 3 concerning the public notice. And unless the board has any further questions, it would be appropriate to consider a motion on the application.
We'll make a motion to allow the variance.
Second. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to allow the parking variance for the Potter House as the application has been presented. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. Humphries, yes. Mr. Lombardo, yes. Mr. Gaines?
Yes.
Yes. So that's 3 yeses, Mr. Solicitor.
Yes, so the application's been approved. We'll prepare written notice that'll be sent out from our office tomorrow.
Thank you very, very much. We
All
all
right,
thanks.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if there's anything we can do for you, please let us know.
Good luck with it.
God bless you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have a good Thanksgiving.